Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to day 12 of March Madness. I'm Laura Serrant, and I'm a global inclusive leadership specialist and a coach. Well, here we are on day 12, and our letter for today to help us frame our musings, our thoughts, our experiences, and discussions in terms of leadership and development is the letter K. The letter K in this alphabet for me stands for knowledge and know-how. So today we get two words for the price of one. And I've put these two words together because in my experience of leadership and certainly my work over the last 40 years, I think these two things are mutually beneficial. Knowledge is probably the simplest one that we think about when we think about development of ourselves, or we think about how we build on our facts, our knowledge and our skills and our information over the years. And knowledge talks about the way in which we gather facts, information, skills, either via our experience, things that happen to us through life, or through formal areas of training or education. Knowledge is sometimes the simplest thing to go to when there is an issue to be dealt with. And certainly it sometimes is the fundamental basis of giving us confidence to actually move forward or to make decisions. When we have a good grasp of knowledge, we feel that we actually have understanding of either the context or the basis of what's happening. And the more we are able to grasp and use our knowledge, we feel that we have mastery of that. There's an old phrase that says knowledge is power. However, I would question whether or not power is actually knowledge at all. I know from my own experience I've got many qualifications, but that doesn't give me any more power. The power of knowledge is in its use. Because only when knowledge is used to inform decisions, and when knowledge is thought about, reflected on, and actually there's a decision made, something happens with that knowledge, is when it actually becomes alive. I'm not saying that actually ends up with power, but actually what it does, it has a powerful way of actually helping us to move towards what we want to do, or sometimes, for example, to solve an issue or a problem. And that's where the second word comes in, and that's know-how. Know-how. Knowing how to use knowledge, knowing how to solve a problem, knowing how to apply your thinking, knowing how to adjust the information or the facts according to different situations is what really brings out the solutions that we want. Know-how is about the practical application of knowledge and abilities. And sometimes we think know-how is less than knowledge. We think about it as much more of an informal thing, but actually know-how is where the power lies. It's where in which we make sense of our world. It's where we can actually enact or bring about an impact on people, an impact on society, and an impact on our businesses. As leaders, as business owners, and as human beings, it's not our knowledge itself that makes the difference, but knowing how to use it and knowing when to use it. Know-how is something that, once we've perfected it, actually allows us to see the wisdom, the aptitude, and the diversity of skills that people can use to solve problems. Know-how also sits in the range of our human selves. Some people's know-how is up here. Some people's know-how is actually practical, problem solving. Some people's know-how is thinking about the things that have never been thought of before. They're the inventions, the entrepreneurs, the big thinkers, and the quirky thinkers. have a different type of know-how, which brings a whole breadth of value to the world, can bring a whole breadth of value to your business, and can bring a whole breadth of value to each of us as human beings in our society. Thinking and reflecting on knowledge and then being able to use it is really, really key to our success. Maya Angelou says, a very wise woman as we all know, Maya Angelou says, when you do your best until you know better, and when you know better, do better. So you can see in the phrase that she uses, knowledge and know-how go hand in hand. Socrates, another great thinker, one of the greatest teachers there was, said, I cannot teach anybody anything, but I can make them think. And he talks then about the ability to, when we have information, to use it, to push ourselves, to think differently, to experience and explore differently, and hopefully to act differently. And Roosevelt, again, another good, great thinker of time, said people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So the knowledge itself, when enacted, when put into practice with the correct know-how, allows us to make decisions on our actions of how we are going to be as human beings, how we are going to be as leaders, and how we are going to be as business owners. And that is what brings power and enacts and impacts the world. Our knowledge as lions and lionesses is always required to be more than what we think in our heads. Because knowledge without action are just merely words or the occasional thought. Thank you for listening today, and I'll see you tomorrow.